Good evening, everyone. I am Nikki Greer Hermeth. Um, in accordance with Government Code Section 551, I will now call this meeting of the School Health Advisory Council to order at 4:32 p.m. I would like to thank you all for being here and for being part of this committee. Are we going to start with reading the minutes from the last meeting? Okay. Can you do that for me? Thank you. Let me, Nurse Grant.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go over our minutes from our meeting from February 26th. The meeting was called to order by Ms. Nikki Greer Hermeth at 4:33 p.m. Our secretary, Sandra Shields, is not able to be here today, but on our last meeting, we went over the review of the SHAC laws. They was revised and approved and adopted by the school board. And then our director of counseling presented identifying social and emotional barriers in district mental health supports. And then also Ms. Bradley, she went over the bullying prevention update, and she gave us an update on the bullying prevention, what we were doing in the district. Then we had another presenter, Ms. Hudson, Director of Student Management and Restorative Practices. She went over the drug preventions, what we're doing in the district to help prevent drugs, and also we are including our athletic events where we're advertising drug prevention information. And Mr. Flint, who is the Director of Teaching and Learning Assessment, went over our health teaks, gave an overview, and then the meeting was adjourned at 5:53 p.m. Do we have the minutes approved? All right, thank you. So now we'll have identifying barriers and solutions to family engagement.
Good evening. All righty, so for the past 3 SHAC meetings, we have determined our barriers to, social emotional learning, academic success, and we've categorized and we have given solutions, provided solutions. And we took 3 meetings to do that, but we're going to take this one meeting to do all of those things. We're going to identify barriers, categorize those barriers, and identify solutions to family engagement here tonight in about 20 minutes. So when we talk about family engagement, we are talking about getting our families to be actively involved in their child's education, right? Our parents, and we want to ensure that our families, our parents are engaged. They know what's going on at the school. They know how to look up their students' grades. They have access to their teachers' contact information. They're in regular communication with teachers, and that we are really operating in a partnership between family and school. And so we know that that is a struggle right now. And so we want to identify what is the reason for the struggle, right? What are the barriers that are currently in place as it relates to family engagement? And then we want to identify some solutions, just like we did with the social emotional learning to academic success. So with your table group, you're going to take 7 minutes. I'm going to start the timer. There's chart paper over here on this table. But the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use the sticky notes in your pencil boxes to identify as many barriers as you can. Talk with your table uh, teammates and just talk through what are the barriers that we have. Is it lack of awareness? Is it a barrier with the communication? Just identify as many barriers as you can. If you can, add one barrier per sticky note so that we're able to easily categorize them. After that 7 minutes is up, we'll come back together, share those barriers out that we came up with, put them into categories, and then we'll start talking about solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. Do we have any questions about the assignment?
I'm sorry, barriers from district to family engagement, barriers from student to family engagement, just trying to.
District to family
District to
engagement.
family.
Yes. District to family engagement. Good question. Any more questions? All righty, we'll go ahead and get started.
Teams just wanted to pop up.
All righty. So what barriers did we come up with as it relates to family engagement? Time. Time restrictions for parents. So if we have a meeting at the school, I don't have time to come up to the meeting. I've got to, work. I've got other. Yes, got it. Okay, time. What else? Language barrier. Yes, I don't speak the same language that you do. There's not a translator for me. I don't know what you're saying. Yes. Cultural barrier. You want to expound on that?
Sometimes, well, I would think that particularly with certain cultures, certain things are approved or I'm trying to think of a word, um, accepted, yes, and some things aren't. So there's a thin line between trying to find out what these are, and then if you go into someone's home and they said, well, why are you coming here? This is our temple, or whatever the case might be. So that's what I'm kind of thinking about culture. Right, Nurse Grant?
Right.
She's at my table.
Yeah. Sometimes people, because of their culture, they have different beliefs, and so they don't always blend into the school setting, and so that can be a barrier, as well as we said, transportation. If they can't
Transportation.
get to the school, then they can't participate.
Okay, sounds good. I know one thing that we came up with at our table was technology being a barrier, maybe not having access to internet or not having different devices that are needed to communicate with the school and to review information.
The parents being interested or knowing the importance of what's going on or how much they need to involve.
Okay, so parent interest. Am I interested in what's going on at the school? I may not be.
Yeah, that can
Right.
piggyback on this. Outreach, parents will block you from Skyward, from their new talking points. They block you. You can't get a message through. So
Right.
you're not able to get in touch with a parent.
Communication barrier. I do not want to hear from the
Right,
school.
I'm not interested in hearing what you have to say.
Right.
Keep it from 9 to 5.
You see
What
that?
I have to do with my job is sometimes I'll have the student call the parent from their cell phone.
There we go, a solution,
Yeah,
yes.
so
That's
the
it.
parents, they'll answer a call a lot faster from the student's cell phone
Correct.
than they will from my cell phone or from my office number. If they see Duncanville ISD, they're like, they ain't nothing but another text message or another voicemail coming from the principal about something going on I ain't got no interest in.
Right,
But if it's the cell phone, if it's little Johnny's little phone,
right,
hey mom, something wrong,
right.
Gotcha.
yeah, exactly. They'll answer it
Exactly.
faster. So
Exactly. Right, right, right.
but one of the things that we talked about was I forgot just that fast. Was it intimidation? Some parents might be intimidated. I'm sorry, was that, did I take that? But they might be intimidated. They might not have the education or might not feel like their education is enough. And, they going down to this school and these people are talking over my head and I don't know what they talking about and all that stuff. So, they can be intimidated by how they are, education and as far as academically, and they may be embarrassed or whatnot. So,
Okay, good. Intimidation, not having a good understanding
exactly.
of what's being communicated. Good.
Scheduling, issues or conflicts between having multiple kids at multiple campuses, maybe having activities that are conflicting and things like that. So it's hard to be involved in
And
multiple places
everything, right.
at once.
Right.
And then we also talked about just not parents maybe not knowing how they can get involved or what they can do, just not having that basic knowledge. And then the last thing we had was not knowing who specifically they should talk to about whatever the concern is, whether that's a different person at the school or somebody maybe at the district level or something like that. So
Right. So that access and awareness of who to go to, who to talk to, and then just really it boiling down to time. If I've got 5 kids and they're at all different levels, then how do I make it to everything? Good. Okay, so anything else that we want to share out as far as barriers? Okay, so, okay.
Feeling the need to be reactive and not proactive, only coming when there's a problem, and understanding the why.
Okay, understanding the why, and then coming when there's a problem only, but not really knowing or maybe even wanting to come when there's a school play or, just to volunteer because we need your help with the dance on Friday night. Wonderful. Okay, so at this time, we're going to work together to narrow or to categorize our barriers. We want to come up with no more than 3 categories for barriers. And so I'm going to give you just a few minutes. I have 5 minutes slated for it, but I think we probably don't have that much time. So I'm going to start the timer, see how fast we can narrow down the barriers that we have to just 3 categories, and then we'll work to make 3 main categories.
Time.
Yeah, I would say culture and language would all go together.
Well, I think that she's trying to do as a whole group, you get 3.
Right. So I'm just saying in our group, these 2 would file together. And I guess
Oh, maybe not. Let's leave it. Because they want to come up with, she just wants 3 out of all of
I
them.
mean, all of them.
So
they would need
the time constraint came up 2 or 3 times. So that would be 1. That's what we're going to do.
And she said communication.
And communications.
Yeah.
Because that would be language and culture.
Yeah.
So time constraint, communications, and 1 more. What was a consistent one that came up? Communication, time constraint, and I'm thinking when it came up. That's only 2 hours. Oh, I see. After we do this, so you got it.
I would say, like you said, these two will fall, these two gonna fall under proper communication.
And
So
then
I know,
time constraints.
yeah, so I know communication will be under one, communication would definitely be one out of the three. It has,
And it ought to be time constraints too, because I heard that 2 or 3 times.
right, everybody is here. You get a bag. Thank you for participating. It's the last one. It's the last one for the school.
I didn't want to pick one up because I just, oh,
Okay, so I hear the conversation kind of dying down. We're going to go ahead and try to identify 3 main categories. So what categories did you all come up with here?
Communication, and we put our language and culture under communication. And then we said time constraints, because we heard that going around through the group a lot.
Okay, communication and time constraints. Does anybody else have those 2? Okay. Any communication, time restraints, both? Okay. Do we have anything other than these 2 categories? Knowledge. Knowledge. Okay, so communication, knowledge, lack of knowledge, and time. Any additional? Okay, so parental interest, socioeconomic. When we say socioeconomic, what do we mean by? Got it. Okay. Okay.
With that way, I know there's a word sociocultural, socioeconomic, to kind of go into that same category. So sociocultural, socioeconomic, sociocultural economic, that's
Okay. So we said communication. I don't know why I was trying to remember them up there. I'm just gonna write them down. Until we got to about 5, and I was like, oh, okay, communication, lack of knowledge, socioeconomic, resources. Okay. Okay, I would put that under socioeconomic. So we've got communication, lack of knowledge or interest. I'm going to merge those 2 because I want to get us down to 3 if we can. Lack of knowledge.
sociocultural. I don't know what category that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lack of knowledge, can that fall under communication? With communication, could that handle the lack of knowledge
It could.
and interest?
Mm-hmm. Lack of knowledge because of communication. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could. Yeah. And time. So we could say resources and say that time is a resource. Okay. And the sociocultural, so resources would be the category. Time, socioeconomic status, sociocultural differences.
Because a mother on this side of town probably wouldn't have as much time as a mother, let's say, in South Florida.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. I forgot what I said there. Sociocultural. Okay. So lack of knowledge or interest. Time. No, we said resources. So we have two because we put the communication under lack of knowledge or interest. Keep it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Resources. Okay, perfect. I like that. Okay, so with these three main categories, the communication, so we know that there's a language barrier there. They may not receive the communication. And then we've got a lack of knowledge or interest. I don't know what's going on at the school. I don't care what's going on at the school. I don't want to know what's going on at the school. And then resources, I don't have a lot of time. I'm working 2 jobs. I can't make it up there. I can't make it to the meeting. Right. My car is broken down. I don't have transportation to get there. Okay, wonderful. So from those 3 categories and the barriers that you've identified, you're going to take, I think, 6 additional minutes to work with your team to discuss solutions. So I know Mr. Hawkins gave us a solution. Hey, when I can't get in touch with the parent because they don't have an interest in hearing from me, I'm going to have the kid call from their cell phone because I know that the parent's going to answer. So what solutions do we have that will that can address these barriers that we've identified? You have 6 minutes.
Let's see. So I would say with resources and time, sometimes communicating it, even though they may not read it, but via email, talking points, newsletters.
I think they're trying to do that, but
Yeah. Some get it, some won't. And then if it's not in a language that they can read, then you just send it, but they can't read it. Or
or they may not be able to
they
read.
may be able to, they may not be able to understand.
The main thing is getting it through to their kids, and kids tell them, like he said, like Hawkins said.
Your
What's the
title is
solution?
risk manager. Risk manager. I'm putting this
You doing minutes?
gotta do it.
So you gotta do it.
Everything.
So you do it on what time? You do the minutes all the time?
Have to.
Because the parent didn't do it.
So even though she was titled to do it, I'm told I have to do it. So of course with her not being here today. So with her not being here today,
What's your next come do this?
will tell you to come do it. And you do the work. You do the work. It's a cute color in your nails. It's a cute color.
Oh, you have to take them all off to do it.
You got to take it out.
You do?
You give them deal.
I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's
Give
deal.
them deal. Yeah, they got to take it out.
I thought maybe they could just put a little bit there, put a little bit there, put a little bit.
But it's pretty. And you can't even tell that it is.
Yeah, I try to get it like my natural color.
Yeah, because it go longer.
But look at that one. It's all. Seems like I just got them done.
It means they grow out fast. Look, you can tell mine because my color is a color.
Huh?
My color is
How long have you been yours?
this is going into I think Thursday. This week will be 3 weeks. Thursday.
Yours is doing good.
Thursday.
I'm gonna try to keep it warm.
So I'm gonna try to keep it until next week so that they'll be fresh for Mother's Day. For Mother's Day.
Oh yeah.
So like
And then you know we got the employee appreciation thing. I gotta work that next Thursday.
I'd rather wait until
And then Ms. Brown's
next Friday.
this Friday. I know I'm working, helping to set that up.
Yeah.
She's moving on up out of here.
Moving on up. Yeah, she gone. 20 years. Wow.
Started out as a teacher here.
Wow. That's something. Mm-hmm.
So they see us now?
They can see you, but they're not gonna hear what you're saying.
Oh, so I better be on my
But, oh yeah, they can see you. Whoever look at it. But
when I made her face too.
They can't see you that good. It's no.
Oh my gosh. Miss Graham, why didn't you tell me something?
You're good, I promise.
Maybe I don't know where the camera is.
Now that I don't know, but
Oh, I think it's up there. And over here, maybe. One of those right there. I'll tell Evan I can wipe that out.
and he gonna say, I don't know what you're talking about. He gonna say, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think the only solution would be those children to intervene. I know your little ones, you couldn't have them to do anything.
Right? But the older
Okay. Alrighty, what solutions did we identify?
Well, I'll talk about communication. I think communication, communicate through cell phones, sending text messages to the parents. I think that's something that needs to continue to be done. Communicate through social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace.
MySpace.
Athletics, we have sports youth, and it's a way we try to communicate with athletes and parents.
Tell us about Sports U. Is that an app?
It's an app. It's an app that you can use to communicate with parents. You can use to communicate with your student athletes. Oh, sorry. What is this one? It's called Sports U, and it's I'd like to say I wouldn't call it a social media. It's more like a better way, a more professional way I say to communicate with your parents and whatnot. And make sure that these are messages that's seen, making sure it's a good, clean way to communicate with messages. Because a lot of education professionals don't want to communicate through cell phone. I try not to text, my student athletes or my student trainers or whatnot. Try not to text the parents or whatnot because of what can go on. Somebody might be at house, who this man texting you, and that's the man from the school. He don't want to hear that, but you know what I'm saying. So to avoid all those issues and whatnot, we have apps like Sports U, and that's one of the main ways that we communicate in athletics. From the department down, and all of our teams communicate with their parents and their their student athletes, through that app and whatnot. And it's an effective way for us to communicate. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like calendar events.
Yes.
So, like events coming up, you put like on the calendar.
Yeah.
It notifies them,
For example, we have physicals next week, so we want all of our student athletes to be there. So we communicate through everybody. Hey, physicals coming up next week. We communicate with the parents, communicate with the students, communicate with the coaches. Hey, this is what's coming up. Put it on your calendar. Be ready. So we make that happen. So other ways to communicate. I don't want to hog the mic, but
Wonderful.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so one thing that Mr. Mitchell and I were talking about is resources. One thing that happens is like we have the Panther Pantry in the district that our social workers manage, and they provide food, clothing, and school supplies to students and families and even staff members in need. Well, in order for the families to know about it, the staff needs to know about it. So us just doing a better job of communicating with the staff and ensuring that the staff is aware that we have these resources available, then staff can identify families in need and reach out to us to say, hey, I have this family, can you help? And so just making sure that the staff is aware of all of the resources and the tools that we're using and just kind of sharing ideas. Same thing with like Sports U. Now that I know about it, I don't know, there may be a situation where I can recommend that to someone or, talk to a parent about having that access. So,
Ms. Pratt, how many social workers, do we have in the district? Do we have one in each school or do we have one?
We have two.
Two
yes.
For the district?
For the whole district. So one serves K through 6 and one serves 7 through 12.
So that's another resources right there. That's wouldn't it be great in a perfect world if there was a social worker at every school?
Absolutely.
And somebody that can help the kids that's at that school with with all the different issues that they have, just us talking around the table. We have kids that are in foster families or foster houses. We have kids that are adopted. We have kids that are homeless. We have parents unemployed. We got a lot of kids that's in need.
Right.
In this district. And I'm thinking, if you had a social worker that's at every school, somebody that can work to address those needs of the individuals at that school, I think district-wide is perfect, having 2 for the district. But I think the move to be going, 1 per school would be ideal. 2 per school would be perfect. You know what I mean? But that's wishful thinking.
Absolutely. Perfect world. Yeah.
Yes, perfect world thinking, exactly.
Sounds good. Yes, best practices. What other, yes, ma'am.
No, I was just going to say, I was saying to that, I was like, well, that sounds like an opportunity at collaboration. There's nonprofits around here that the school could the district could possibly partner with, and perhaps, their social workers can take on a couple, but that would take some work at the district level to kind of figure out what that would look like financially and logistically,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen it done in other districts. So
Yes,
just an
absolutely.
opportunity to possibly collaborate.
Yes, and we do. Our social workers, we have several community partnerships.
Okay.
We have partnerships with organizations that donate underwear. We have partnerships with organizations that donate diapers for our pregnant and parenting students. We have, Metro Care that comes in and provides mental health services. So we definitely have those. Again, but you didn't know. So it's about the
Yeah.
communication and spreading the word and making sure everyone's aware of the services that are provided.
And I was going to say that as far as how you were touching on the staff members knowing the resources that are available as far as like the pantry and the the financial and food resources. Same
Yes.
thing with communication and knowledge, because we were having a conversation at our table about how difficult it was for me to get a hold of the PTA at my son's school. And it's like, I thought for sure I could walk in and ask the front desk, hey, who is in charge of the PTA? When do they meet?
Right.
They didn't even know when they met. They did
Yeah.
the best they could. They connected me with the teacher who works with them. But even then, I just got a QR code that connected me to how to pay the dues. And so then I was like, okay, pay the dues. Somebody will definitely contact me then. Pay the dues. Still nobody contacted me. So
Right.
You're totally right when you say it would be helpful to kind of ensure that all the staff members at the school are aware of as many resources that we have available.
Absolutely.
So for sure.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Follow on the resources, we talked about, how when you go to a doctor's office, you have this magazine rack that has all these foldable pamphlets that you could read, and maybe we could have a resource rack in the office, because that's where all the parents come, and have things available for them to pick up, like school attendance or first day of school or signing up for PTA, and even having a bulletin board with sticky notes on it for parents to take a look at things that are going on in the district.
Yes. I love it. So resource rack, bulletin board with information, flyers. They may not have access to Peach Jar. Okay. All righty. So I'm wrapping it up. Any more resource or any more solutions that haven't been listed here?
A little waiting area for kids that have to come with parents when they have to do meetings. Have activities set up for the young kids, the infants that have to travel with parents. Something to keep them engaged or not, and have a engagement with principal and teacher.
So like child care waiting area.
Last thing that we said regarding resources that hasn't been mentioned yet was possibly being available at various different times for different activities, because we said time was a valuable resource for parents
Right.
that they may not have. And so to maybe just try to be as flexible, like don't have everything at 9 o'clock or
Right.
whatever. Some
Right.
parents may work, be working, or like try to have some activities in the morning, some activities in the evening, or meetings. My principal is great about calling after hours. I don't expect everybody to do that, but she does. But just to be mindful that some parents, everybody doesn't work 9 to 5. Everybody doesn't have. Some people are doing shift work. Everybody's not working at a desk where they can take a call in the middle.
Right.
So just kind of be maybe mindful of that and try to increase the availability.
Increased availability, flexible scheduling. Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for your time. I believe I probably run over, but we're definitely going to keep note of these solutions and work to implement where we can. Thank you all so much.
All right, now we're up to our employee wellness update. Our presenters will be Ms. Wavers and myself.
Good evening, everybody. Well, Nurse Grant myself, Ms. Pratt, Ms. McClendon, Ms. Badger, who else is on there? Is a newly created wellness committee. And we have started this year. We've done a number of different things. And this is basically employee wellness. So I know we talk about students, but we want to make sure that our employees are getting some information also. And so what we've done this year, 23-24, we've had several campaigns, we have several events, we've done things with newsletters and emails, and it's a collaboration between basically human resources and student services and health services to get this off the ground. So what we've done, like we say up here, is we've had a fall and spring health and wellness campaigns. We've done weekly and monthly newsletters and events through our Peach Jar and some of the other communications when we talk about communications. And then we also had some items that were specifically targeted towards some of our operations departments for not only employee wellness, but also safety. So we're just going to go through those. It won't take that long, just to show you some of the things that we've done and some of the things that the employees participated in. We want to get more participation next year, but I think getting it off the ground this year is a start. And you may have seen some of these, or you might say, well, if you're an employee, you may have seen it, or you may say, well, I didn't see that. So we want you to pay attention to certain things when you see them on the internet or Peach Jar or whatever the case might be. So why don't we go through those, Nurse Grant? Okay, here's some of the things. We did the Health and Wellness Corner. So every month there's a Health and Wellness Corner. And then we did the breast cancer awareness and screenings. We tried to time things through the month where it's normally an event, like breast cancer awareness is normally in October. Now, we couldn't get it in October because we were a little bit behind the 8 ball with that, so it didn't happen until January, but it did happen, okay? Then the National Blood Drive, Corridor Blood Drive, we did that at the TLC, the Teaching and Learning Center, where employees were able to donate blood and they were given an umbrella. And so we had good participation with that. I think maybe for the first time, I think it was about 20 people. So that's good. So it helped, particularly when they said that they need blood right away at these different hospitals and things like that. So we were glad about that. American Heart Association, we partnered with them, and we had a number of different things. What we might do is we might just go through that list, and then that'll talk about all these different things. And when you see these flyers, you might say, oh yeah, I saw that. Maybe you didn't participate in it, but at least you saw it. So now you know there's some things for employees. So why don't that was one of the campaigns where the employees received that little tumbler, stainless steel tumbler and can insulator. And it was about margins for relationships, personal health, and work. And so it was saying, make space, make time for these different things, personal relationships, whether it's at work or at home, and that kind of thing. Then we had Join the Fight. There we are with the breast cancer awareness. That flyer went out. It happened in January. I think what happened, it was a little something that happened with that also, but we did get some employees to participate in that. I don't know exactly how many, but we thought we did good on that.
And each time we have these breast cancer awareness, we hope that, and our goal is that each year we'll get increase in participation. And we also know that some employees already have their annual mammograms already scheduled, but we still try to get the information out for those that don't, and we try to make it convenient to have it done in the district.
Then this is that American Heart Association. This was the first year that we actually partnered with them. They even provided us with T-shirts to give to all the employees who request. So some people are shaking their head. They knew about the T-shirts. So that was one of the promotions that we had. And we had asked employees to participate. There were prizes that were given away. We had an employee and a counselor won $100 from participating in this particular program. The American Heart Association gave her $100. What was the employee's name? Can you remember?
I don't remember.
Ms. Pratt, do you remember? You had an employee, a counselor who won $100. I can't think of her name right now. Was it Love? Is her last name? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Miss Love, she participated and she won $100. And then they were giving away tickets for not the Super Bowl that was coming up, but the Super Bowl coming up in,
This coming year,
when is it? 25?
20, yep.
Yeah, next year. Okay, so that was one, and that was a T-shirt. That's how the T-shirt looked. So you may have seen that T-shirt. May have not been like exactly like that. We also had the free EKG testing and blood pressure checks, and that was done here at the plaza. And we had a number of employees to participate in that. And they did I thought, he was going to put electrodes, buttons all on you and everything. All we had to do is just stick our finger in a little, like
A scanning device.
yes, you just stick your finger in there and then it tells you what your heartbeat does. So it didn't give a printout of exactly what's going on, but it did give you an idea if you did need to go see a cardiologist or someone as it relates to your heart. And then the blood pressure check. So we had quite a few employees from all over the district to come to that.
We had great participation in that. And the good thing about it is if you participated, it let you know if you were normal range, abnormal range, to refer you to go ahead and see your primary care physician.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, we had put on your dancing shoes. We had line dancing classes and we had participation. We wanted a little bit more. Some of them were here. The majority of them were here in this room right here. And everybody who came, they enjoyed it. They said, we ought to do this every month, not just those months that we had. I think we did it maybe 4 or 5 months. And so we want to continue that because that was a good way for employees to exercise and connect and learn some line dances, popular line dances. And we had a good instructor. She volunteered her time. She was an employee, Miss Tiffany Ashford, and she says she's ready whenever we're ready. So, and she volunteered for that. We didn't pay her or anything, but she was very good with those classes. Then we had wellness tips. Each Wednesday we tried to provide those. Nurse Grant provided those. You can tell them about that, Nurse Grant.
So on our Wednesday wellness tips, we just try to encourage people to either get up, move around, like dancing, walking, things that will relieve stress. We also encourage people to eat healthy, drink more water, just things to take self-care. Because a lot of times as educators, we're always taking care of our students and staff members as nurses. However, we forget the most important thing is taking care of ourselves. And if we're not healthy, how can we help someone else?
Mm-hmm. And then this was another incentive that we recently did where those particular natural bags were provided because it was called, I can't even say it now, Pure Vita, meaning pure life. Eat things that you can read. I started looking at labels and I was like, there's hardly anything you can eat without, if it just says apple, it's an apple, okay? Or if it's an orange or if it's a broccoli or something. But when you get some of these other things and it has all these, and Miss Markham might know that, certain acid, this, so it's something where in that particular promotion, we wanted employees to try to just eat simple things and then they got that bag for participating. And then Mental Health Mondays,
Shayla, the counselor. Shayla put on the Mental Health Mondays. You had to register through Edgedance, and sometimes she had great participation. I know the last one she had that she said that participation increased. She bring in a guest speaker, and they talk about just mental health. Again, as employees, educators, we need to make sure that we're taking care of our mental health because our students, staff, they need us, and so we have to remember to take care of ourselves as well.
Yes, I went to one of those, that I could make, and it was very good, interactive. Plus, they had good snacks and and it was very good, Ms. Pratt. Thank you so much. And then, of course, I said about the Carter Blood Drive, and we did that at the Dr. Mark Smith Teaching and Learning Center, and we had good participation with that, and the employees who participated got the umbrella with Carter Blood Drive on it. And we tried to do it a little bit later, and I think it was on a professional development day, so that if employees could get to it during that time frame or right after they got finished with professional development, then it was a little bit after stopping hours. And then
we did the Choose to Lose wellness campaign, and this campaign went off by departments or campuses. Our campus that won the wellness campaign was Alexander. Again, our goal is to get lots of participation, so we send it out in newsletters. The nurses promote it on their campuses, and hopefully each year that we'll get more and more participation.
And then towards the end, well, I think this was in March or April, right before spring break, this gentleman provided us with a fitness membership for 4 weeks, and he used to do Camp Gladiator. And so he worked with a number of our employees already, and so he gave this $189 value free for 4 weeks for our employees, and we had good participation in that too. Some people are still going. They ended up getting memberships. I know we had have at least 2 people that ended up getting the actual membership and ongoing with this, other than the 4 weeks. But we thought that was something good that employees would like to do, or, everybody's trying to, particularly in the beginning of the year, we're all ready and gung-ho.
So we're just showing that we're not only trying to keep our students engaged in health and wellness, but we're trying to keep our employees, their well-being is very important to us as well.
Oh, now this is some of the other more safety type aspects in wellness. And these are the principals and the campuses that won Safest Schools. And then we had the operations department that had the Safest Operations Department, which was transportation this past, 22-23, because we hadn't done 23-24 yet. And then Ms. Parker at Central and Lanier at Alexander. So they won not only Choose to Lose, but they won this the previous year. And then at Byrd Middle School, well, I had the 2 principals because Miss Kendra Davis Martin, she was there, and then Miss Ozorko came after her. So I just put both of them up there. But they had where the employees didn't have, they may have, to be up here, they had no employees with any work-related injuries. So that was very good out of the number of employees at their campuses that they didn't have, or if they did have, and let me just clarify that, if they did have an injury or something like that, it was not anything that was where they had to seek doctor's care, but maybe the nurse may have assisted them at the campus and they were okay. So it wasn't anything life-threatening or anything like that. And then these are some of the employees who help. These are some of the secretaries. They help us, what we call our safety wellness resource people, and they won some awards either if it was that year, and they have some fake checks there because as part of this, our insurance company, in conjunction with us, they provide an incentive for employees, particularly the ones, like I just said, that it's not any work-related injuries, and they were able to get certain safety-related items, or they were able to purchase maybe lunch or breakfast for employees at that particular campus. And then we have a district bus driver of the year, and then also employee, other nominations and gifts and things that we do for operations departments, so that they also have some incentives to continue to be safe and well. And then some of them got jackets like this when they participate, or they do something beyond the call of duty as it relates to safety and wellness. And these jackets, or they've got some other school district on there, but this is just an example of the jackets. And so we plan to do the same thing, some of the same things, or maybe and try to get more employees participating in some of these events. And we just want to keep it ongoing, continue the newsletter, continue some of the other safety resources and wellness resources that we've been providing and that we did this year as part of the Employee Wellness Committee. Thank you all very much.
Anyone have any questions?
No questions?
No
But
questions.
just participate next year. Okay? Mr. Hawkins?
All right, so I'm going to go over some health screenings and updates. So again, pretty much we've been able to have a nurse on each campus at all of our schools, and that's a good thing. Our nurses give out medication administration during the school hours. And one thing that we encourage the nurses to do at the end of the school year is send home those medication administration forms so that the parents can get them filled out over the summer. So when they come back for the first day of school, they already have their permission to give the medication during the school day. We do the asthma action plan. We teach students how to use their inhalers and just try to educate them on diabetic management. We have several type 2 diabetic students in the district. So we're seeing that more and more increase each school year. And we do a lot of teaching and training, not just the students, but parents, teachers, each other. We share information that we learn about diabetes. And I know one of the nurses, she'll send an email and just remind nurses of just different things to look for. We collaborate with child nutrition so that we can do the carb counts and make sure that the students get the right amount of insulin that they're supposed to get. We also are involved in our seizure action plan, and this year TEA has changed that action plan, so they want all of the school districts in the state of Texas to use the same seizure action plan. So that will be implemented this year and starting into next school year. And we're also encouraging our nurses to send home those forms so that hopefully that they can get them filled out over the summer. Our immunizations, we have partnered this year with Parkland and the Doctor Spot in order to get our students vaccinated. And out of all the clinics we have, we don't get the participation that we want, but we continue to advertise immunization clinics. We continue to remind parents to get their students vaccinated. And if they don't want to get them vaccinated, we ask them to do the affidavit to get them exempt. Then flu surveillance is an ongoing process during flu season. We report our flu cases to the Dallas County. And then the nurses are also trained to do the mandated screenings, the hearing, vision, scoliosis, the AN screening, and that's checking for at risk for type 2 diabetes. And those are in grades 1st, 3rd, 5, and 7. And a lot of our screenings, even though it's by grade level, if someone refer a student to be screened, they don't necessarily have to be in the grade level that they are required to screen in. So if a teacher or parent call up and they say they want their student screened, then we provide that screening for them. We get vouchers for glasses, so our students can get free glasses and free eye exams. So once we refer them, because they failed the screening, we also let the parents know if resources is a problem, then we try to provide them with the vision voucher. And each nurse can get up to, they changed it, but each nurse can get up to 10 vouchers at a time. But once those run out, you can continue to request the vision vouchers, and they'll give them to you. And we share them with our social workers and our counselors, because the counselors or social worker will call and ask, do we have vouchers, because they see the students as well. So we try to make sure that our students get the glasses and the resources that they need. And again, immunizations and reviewing those records is an ongoing process. At the beginning of the year, we had over 1,100 students that were delinquent, and at this time, we're down to like 700. So it fluctuates, but we're working really, really hard on trying to get those students vaccinated without putting them out of school. So I have any questions on that? All right, thank you. And our next person up is Child Nutrition Update.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. I was going to give a quick update on our meals served. So I pulled this information at the end of March. And so 304,255 breakfasts, 939,000 plus lunches, and 2,226 after-school snacks. Our after-school snack program is primarily before testing, whenever we're doing tutoring. So the principal of those campuses will contact us and say, hey, we're having tutoring after school. Can we have free after-school snacks? Of course, we say yes and get them enrolled in that program. Those are done now with the exception of Fair Meadows, who I believe is having a gardening club, so that's ongoing. So those are the schools, Alexander Central, Fair Meadows, Smith, and Kennemer, that provided after-school snacks during tutoring. Free and reduced percentage. The number of students on free or reduced lunch right now is at 82%. And we had a Texas Department of Agriculture administrative review, which means it's our audit. Every 3 years we get an audit, and they come in and look if we're following all the regulations and guidelines. It's over, hallelujah, and we did really well. Really well, no big problems. So one thing I wanted to say about those meals that I talked to you about, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our menu changes in a minute, is last year compared to this year, our breakfast participation is up 14%, and lunch participation is up about 7.5%. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about right here, I think might have helped improve that. Looking at enrollment, it was fairly steady. So I don't think that played a factor in it. So we did get new point of sale hardware, as ours was outdated, and a software upgrade. I don't think that really had any impact on our participation, but it was much needed for our staff. We did have parent-student menu meetings. We had 3 of them this year. One was for elementary intermediate age, one for middle school, and one for high school. In addition, a parent survey went out, which I'm waiting on the results of that, so I couldn't present them tonight, so that we could get some feedback from students and parents to say, hey, this is what we like and this is what we do not. We made some menu enhancements, and that was 6 new breakfast menu items. We had 12 new entrees at K through 8 that we tried out. We had 2 entree choices at elementary school, which previously they had just had 1 entree choice. And then high school menu, we had 9 new entrees we tried out. Some of them went really well and some of them didn't, right? So that's what we have been working on. Of course, already we've put in orders for commodity foods and forecasting for what we're going to buy for next year's menu. And we used a lot of this information that we received to make it even better for the next year. In the summer, we have an opportunity to go above and beyond what the regulations are with our school meals, and they have a recognition called Turn Up the Beat. So obviously that's a play on turn up the meat, only we're going to use vegetables. So we had to have locally produced fruits, vegetables, and milk, and that local term means for us in the state of Texas. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a 20-mile radius. Being here that we don't have a whole lot of farms, right next door to us in the Metroplex, but it did mean that it came from the state of Texas. 50% or more of our fruits and vegetables had to be fresh rather than canned or frozen. We did promotions regarding nutritious foods and locally sourced foods and diversified our menu. So we did receive gold status, and that was the highest status that we could receive in that particular recognition for last summer. And we have made our menu where we hope to receive that again for this coming summer. One thing that's not on there is that summer meals here are free to anybody, and I wanted to say student, but not student. Anyone from 0 to 18 years old can go to a summer feeding site. Those will be publicized. There will be a number that you can call. We'll put out flyers. It will be the campuses where summer school is being held. And it doesn't matter what your income is, you get a free breakfast, you get a free lunch. No questions asked. So you guys get the word out so that we can get people from the community, students that live here that are not necessarily in summer school can participate in that as well. One of the other things we did was the Farm Fresh Challenge in October. We did receive the highest recognition in that as well. So we had to have 3 or more Texas foods each week. We had to have 1 educational opportunity each week and 1 or more social media posts on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We passed out a lot of informational things to students. We gave out some coloring sheets and things so that we could kind of get it out to the masses. But the one specific thing we did was host a farmer's market at Alexander, and the students had an opportunity to go through the line and then come through and try zucchini, squash, and grapefruit that were locally sourced. And you would be surprised at how many kids had never eaten grapefruit and enjoyed it. So if we can get just 1 or 2 kids to try something new that's healthy, that's what we want to do. That's all I have. Does anyone have any questions for child nutrition? Okay, thank you.
Yes, about the summer breakfast and lunch, what would be the hours? Is it
There'll be different hours at each school, and I'm still waiting on that until we get all the information from the school. And we will be putting it out on social media, flyers on the campuses, and getting that out there.
All right, good evening. I'm going to go over the physical activity and coordinated health portion for the district. Here just kind of give the TEA requirements, the rules as far as PE being a part of the district curriculum in the state of Texas for elementary, middle, and high school. That it's a requirement for those grade levels to provide physical education. At the high school level, right now we're providing lifetime fitness and wellness and skill-based lifetime activities. Those are the 2 courses that we currently provide for our students in high school to earn their PE credit. They only need 1 credit for graduation purposes, but we know many of our students may participate in extracurricular activities like band, drill, sports. So those classes may be used as a substitution to get their PE credit. And they can get up to 4, but no more than those credits, that they can get during their time in high school, no more than that. For grades 6 through 8, they must participate in a moderate to vigorous daily activity for at least 30 minutes for at least 4 semesters during those grade levels as part of the district PE curriculum. So even though in middle school some of them are in athletics, they still have to take the PE course in athletics. It's not a substitution in middle school. Uh-oh. You timed me out? Oh, in grades pre-K through 5, those students also get at least 30 minutes throughout the school year in the district's PE curriculum on a full day, so they're in those classes all day. So in those classes, they'll be getting at least 30 minutes of physical activity in those classes. So the teachers have them doing, various activities, games that they'll play to try to get those kids' heart rate up instead of just sitting down and just saying roll out a ball and just play. They'll actually do some coordinated physical activities for those students to be active in the PE classes. I spoke about the PE substitutions that we offer. We have the ROTC, athletics, drill team, marching band, and cheerleading. some districts, they may offer like athletic training, like for us, for instance, we have student athletes, we have athletes that are athletic trainers. So they may use that also as a PE substitute if they're doing athletic training for our athletes. Fitnessgram. Fitnessgram is a instrument that is required by the state that we must give to assess our students. It's from grades 3 through 12 that those students take the fitnessgram. So what those components are with aerobic activity, which will include like a 20-minute pacer test or a mile run. They do body composition. We get their height and weight. We get muscular strength, endurance. They do push-ups, shoulder stretch, trunk lift, and sit and reach. So those are the different criteria that they're measured on. All their information is private. It's not shared with anyone. So once the teachers get their information, they input it into the fitness grant program, and that's it. So that none of that information is shared, to the public. It's just something we have to do through the state of Texas, and then we got to have 100 completion rate. So here's the reporting as we get those reports. Ooh, I'm missing a slide. So right now, as a district, we are 92% complete on our fitness gram. And some things that kind of have us at the numbers. We had testing on last week, and then the weather has kind of played a part for us to get our aerobic fitness done. So we plan to be at 100% by the end of the week. Right now, our elementary schools are at 97% completion. Our intermediates are at 100%. Our high school is at 79%, and our middle school are at 97%. And the thing with our high school, a lot of them that require like our students in our athletic classes to take it. So the coach are trying to find time between their practices so they can get those test results done. Another thing that we're finding, we're having a lot of students move for some reason in this time of year to different classes or different campuses. So we're having to go in to identify those students because we can't go in to exempt those students, since we're so late into the year. So those results don't count against us. Do anyone have any questions on the PE program? All right, thank you.
So we want to thank you all for participating in SHAC. And as you know, this is the last SHAC committee meeting for this school year. So we have a survey. Can you scan the QR code and complete the survey, please?
Thanks again for everybody's participation. I just wanted to adjourn the meeting at 5:54 p.m. On your way out, if you could grab a beautiful gift bag that they have for us, on your way out.
And if you don't sign in on your way.
And if you didn't sign in on your way out.